All right, everybody, welcome back. I'm excited for today's deep dive.
Yeah, me too.
We're going to be talking about credit cards.
Oh, yeah. Very important topic.
So important, right?
Yep.
I mean, everybody has them. Everybody uses them.
Everybody needs them.
You need them.
But
But we're not really going to be talking about like the rewards or
Yeah.
like the benefits or anything like that.
not the fun stuff.
Not the fun stuff. No.
We're talking about the dark side.
We are talking about the potential negatives.
Yeah, the stuff that nobody really wants to talk about.
Yeah, the stuff that can trip you up
Exactly.
if you're not careful.
Exactly.
So let's just get right into it. I think the best place to start is just
Sure.
like, how do credit cards work?
Yeah, so at a very basic level, credit cards are a form of borrowing.
Okay.
So every time you swipe your card,
Mm-hmm.
you're essentially taking out a small loan from the credit card company.
Okay.
You're basically saying, hey, can I borrow this money to buy this thing?
Right.
And I promise I'll pay you back later.
With interest, of course.
Yeah, okay, with interest, there it is.
That's the catch.
That's the thing.
That's how they make their money, right?
That's how they get you.
That's right.
So talk to me about the interest rates.
Yeah,
Like, that's something that I feel like a lot of people
a lot of people don't understand.
don't really understand, or they just
They don't pay attention to
don't
it
even pay attention to it. Yeah.
until it's too late.
Right, and then they're like, oh my gosh, this $20 purchase
Exactly.
turned into
$100 purchase.
$100 purchase because I didn't pay attention.
Exactly. And that's one of the biggest downsides of credit cards is that the interest rates can be really high.
Yes.
Much higher than other types of loans, like a car loan or a mortgage.
Right.
And those interest charges can add up really quickly if you're not careful, especially if you're only making the minimum payments each month,
Yeah.
so you really want to make sure that you're paying attention to those interest rates.
Yeah. I always tell people.
It's like almost like the first thing you should look at when you're thinking about getting a credit card or
Yeah.
even just like when you get your statement.
Absolutely. What is that interest rate?
Like, what is it? And am I okay with this?
Right.
If I carry a balance?
Exactly. And what is that going to cost me in the long run?
Yeah.
Because it can really make a difference.
Okay. So we've talked about the interest rates.
Yeah.
Let's talk about another scary thing.
Okay.
Credit scores.
Ah, yes.
Everyone always talks about your credit score.
It's like this mysterious 3-digit number that controls your life.
It really is. Like,
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah. So your credit score is basically a numerical representation of your creditworthiness.
Okay.
It tells lenders how risky it is to lend you money.
Got it.
And the higher your score, the better.
The better.
So the higher your score, the more likely you are to get approved for loans and credit cards, and you'll usually get better interest rates too.
Okay.
So it's really important to maintain a good credit score.
Okay. So how do credit cards factor into all this?
Right. So credit cards are actually a really important factor in your credit score.
Okay.
Your payment history on your credit cards is one of the biggest factors that determines your score.
Got it.
So if you're making your payments on time every month, that's going to help boost your score.
Okay. Good.
But if you're missing payments or making late payments,
Wow.
that's going to hurt your score.
Bad.
Yeah, and that can have a ripple effect on your overall financial health.
Give me an example of like what that would look like.
Sure, so let's say you want to buy a house.
Okay.
Right, big purchase.
Big purchase.
Most people need a mortgage for that, right?
Right.
So you go to a lender to apply for a mortgage, and they pull your credit score. And if your score is low because you've been missing credit card payments,
Okay.
they might deny you for the loan, or they might give you a higher interest rate, which means you're going to end up paying more for your house over time.
So even if they don't deny you,
Exactly.
you're going to pay more
You're going to pay more.
because they think you're risky.
Exactly. They see you as a higher risk borrower.
Got it.
So they're going to charge you more to compensate for that risk.
Okay. So these little tiny things on our credit card,
Yeah.
like forgetting to pay it or something like that, can snowball into
Yeah, exactly.
like it
If
can
you
have a domino effect.
financial disaster.
Okay.
Okay, so we've talked about interest rates. We talked about credit scores.
Right.
What other kind of downsides are there to credit cards?
Well, another big one is overspending.
Okay.
Because when you're using a credit card, you're not physically handing over cash.
Right.
You can be really easy to lose track of how much you're spending.
Mm-hmm.
And that can lead to racking up a lot of debt without even realizing it.
Yes.
And then you get hit with those high interest rates that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
And it becomes a vicious cycle.
It's a slippery slope.
It is.
It is.
It's very slippery.
So we've talked about the interest rates, the credit scores, the overspending, anything else. Oh yeah, those pesky fees. The fees. There are so many fees associated with credit cards.
Okay, like what?
Like annual fees, late payment fees, balance transfer fees, cash advance fees.
Cash advance fees. I feel like people don't even know about those anymore.
Right. They're like, what is that?
Like, is that even a thing anymore?
It is a thing, and it's very expensive.
Wow.
So yeah, all those fees can really add up.
So it's just like one more thing to be aware of.
Exactly. You got to read the fine print.
Yeah.
Know what you're getting into.
Okay, so it sounds like the main takeaway here
Yeah.
is that credit cards can be great,
Absolutely.
but you have to be careful.
You got to use them responsibly.
You have to know
what you're doing.
the rules of the game
Yes.
before you start playing.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to get burned.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So that is our credit card deep dive.
That was a good one.
I think that was a good one.
A lot of good information there.
Yeah. So listener, just a thought to leave you with.
Now that you know all of this about credit cards, the good, the bad, and the ugly,
It's ugly.
how are you going to use this information
Yeah.
to make sure that you're using credit cards to your benefit
Right.
and not letting them use you?
Exactly.
All right. That is all we have for today. Thank you for tuning in.